I gladly welcome you all to the valedictory ceremony of today's national conference. We'll begin this session with a small quote by John Maxwell. Change is inevitable. Growth is optional. I repeat, change is inevitable. Growth is optional. I now humbly request Dr. Usha George, Principal of Patrician College of Arts and Science, to render a few words of inspiration.
The amount of the matter in an hour.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. Uh, it's my pleasure to welcome and thank Professor Jay Chandran, Head of the Department of English and Anna University, for having been here with us to deliver the keynote address. I would also like to thank all the participants from other colleges, the faculty and students, and our own faculty and students who have been in this, who had participated in this national conference. My special appreciations to the head of the department, Professor Lakshmi, and the entire team of the English department who had coordinated in organizing this national conference on the topic Changing Trends in English Language Teaching and Learning. Changing Trends in Teaching and Learning English Language and Literature. This is a topic, as we all know, which will be relevant for all times because change, as Alice said, and as all of us know, is inevitable. And as everything changes, language also changes. We have seen that language has evolved through the ages through various factors. And more so in the 21st century, it has changed rapidly with the advancement of technology. And accordingly, the various teaching methodologies, tools, materials have also changed. So naturally, there is an evolution, a growth, a development in the teaching and learning process of the English language. The various theories of language teaching and the trends in language acquisition, which has changed, is currently being influenced, as we all know, because of the ICT tools, web-based learning, the social factors like the pandemic, various linguistic factors, educational, socio-political perspectives also. Both teaching and the learning process has changed. Like today, we cannot think of language without being related to ICT. In a classroom, today we talk of the Google Classroom. It is technology based, and more so it is like computer mediated. Computer is not only a tool today, but it has become a tutor with this call methodology, computer assisted language teaching. It is technology aided today, learner centered. It is affordable. It has become more flexible. You have web-based classes on any topic in order to hone all your basic skills, language skills, reading, writing, speaking, and so on, listening. But and when you talk about the various different methodologies or the different innovative methods that are used today, we come across gamification, which is very, very interesting and enjoyable process for young learners, which is a trend today. And with the gamification and so many apps being introduced, we find that language is being capitalized by the corporates, because it is not only the the apps that they introduce, but even the material is introduced by them, the testing procedure is introduced by them, evaluation is given by them. So it is being monopolized by them. Slowly, the role of the class teacher is receding. It is the technology that is overtaking, and though we may say it is replaced, it is not totally replaced. We still adhere to the traditional method. The role of a teacher can never be undervalued, as all of us know. Being a teacher, we can never allow that. So, along with e-learning, gamification, embodied learning, like engaging the students, learners fully, emotionally, physically, intellectually, uh, through various hands-on activities, we tend to stimulate and inspire the learners more. The teachers inspire the learning process in a more interesting manner. We also have various popular online sites like the quizzes, the Socrative, where you can create and share content. You have the website Canva for both for the teachers and learners, which can express the creativity of the learners through the posters and banners and the social media memes that you use, banners. These are all creative process. So what all of this tells us is that the role of a learner is more important than the role of a teacher. How much he or she develops the ability to improve their skills, their language skills, depends to a great extent on the learner, the interest that is shown by the learner, because there is so much of opportunities and uh, tools that the learner can make use of during their free time, according to their interest, to acquire the language skills. But basically, as a literature student, always I would say that literature is the most reliable and authentic source of teaching English language, because you have here a sample, a standard of language, which when read, you acquire the, what do you say, the lexicality, the semantic functions, the syntactic functions of language usage, which you internalize and in and you're able to appropriate or make use of these uh, linguistic aspects which you have read from literature in uh, in uh, in the functional context in different situations in life. Though technology, web-based teaching and learning has plays a very important role, literature still plays a very important role in acquiring the acquisition of English language, because no one can deny the power of language, especially in poetry and drama. It is like where it not only gives you pleasure, you not only enjoy the text, you not only enjoy the theme, the content, the style, uh, you also acquire in the process the ability to improve your skill in writing, the skill in listening and speaking. For instance, if should quote a line from Dr. Faustus, which most of you all would be familiar with, still swollen with self-conceit, his waxen wings did mount above his reach, and the melting heavens conspired his overthrow. See the kind of language that is used over there to talk about the overwhelming ambition of Dr. Faustus. So this becomes a part of your diction. So many poetic expressions become a part of your daily usage. And literature, I think, is a very, very reliable and important source for improving and enhancing the not only the content, but also one's language skills. And teaching English literature, I don't think there is much of a change. It used to be lectures, teaching from the text used to be used. But today, of course, the approach is different. It is not from the teacher side, it is mostly from student side. Student is asked to read the text, asked to analyze. Typically, it is a reader response theory. Here again, being belonging to the old school, I will not fully agree with the reader response theory, because all interpretations cannot be accepted as the right interpretation. So it is the power of language, the power of the great writings of let me say philosophers, thinkers, and writers inadvertently influences our thinking ability, our writing ability, speaking and listening, speaking ability. So, uh, uh, points that I would like to conclude is that a teaching and the learning process has changed to a great extent. The traditional method has replaced to a great extent. The role of a teacher is just that of a facilitator, an organizer, a classroom manager, uh, and sometimes a tutor. It is being replaced by technology, but of course, the text still plays a vital role in the teaching of language and literature. With that, I would like to conclude and once again congratulate and appreciate the department for organizing this national conference.
Thank you, ma'am, for felicitating the gathering with your valuable inputs. I now call upon the organizing committee, Mr. Prithviraj, Mr. Vijay Ganesh, and Dr. Murli, to release the proceedings of the conference.
Thank you, Alice. Good afternoon to one and all present here. We have reached the most important segment of our national conference is the release of the conference proceedings. At this outset, I, on behalf of the PG Department of English, take immense pleasure and especially thank our management headed by our Director and Secretary, Reverend Brother S. Arukiraj, our Academic Director, Dr. Fatima Wasant, Principal Ma'am, Dr. Usha George, Vice Principals, Dr. Geeta Rufus, Shift 2, and Dr. Meena, Shift 1, the Advisory Committee member of this National Conference, Head of the Department, the Organizing Committee members, paper presenters, and participants for making this event happen today in a very successful way. So it is now time to release our conference proceeding. So we would like to release our conference proceeding to a short video. I now request Mr. Arvind to take over.
Uh, Thank you, Aravind. Just a short note on the proceeding. Actually, as you know, one of the organizing secretaries. Good afternoon, everyone. English as a discipline. It has been philological. As a discipline, it used to teach universal values. Used to save humanity from mass destruction caused by technology, and was also used to represent political and philosophical problems. Even it contributed to the way we understand the world around us. And nowadays, it is used to teach communicative skills. So, as a discipline, it has evolved. Uh, from the time it was introduced as a subject. So now the problem is we have to position ourselves in one or other defining aspect of this discipline. So in order to do this, in fact, we need to reflect on how we study and why we study. Two specific questions, that we have to address. In this way, I would say the present conference becomes necessary and relevant. In fact, we thank the presenters and participants. They focused on history, evolution of language teaching and learning, and also they focused on specific tools that can be used to teach language, and also they focused on the reading new forms of literary writing, right? So on the whole, it was very interesting, and also it touched upon the different aspects of teaching and learning language and literature. So once again, on behalf of the department, I thank you all for your contribution. Thank you.
Thank you, one and all, for your strenuous efforts in making this national conference a grand success. Last but not the least, I now invite Mrs. Lenora Vieira, Assistant Professor of Department of English, to give the vote of thanks.
A very good afternoon to one and all gathered here. No matter what language you speak, a kind and smiling thank you always speaks to everyone's heart. At the outset, we, the Department of English, would like to thank the Almighty for guiding us today and making this a grand success. We extend our gratitude to our Director and Secretary, Reverend Brother Dr. S. Arukiraj, for his encouragement to host this conference. We thank our Academic Director, Dr. Fatima Vasant, for her exceptional guiding spirit. We thank our Principal, Dr. Usha George, the backbone of our department, for her words of encouragement and motivation. Also thank our vice principals, Dr. Geeta Rufus and Dr. Meena, for their support. We would like to thank the members of the Research Advisory Committee, Dr. P. Tamilarasan, Professor and Head Department of English and Foreign Language, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Dr. S. Ruby, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Dr. Ambedkar College, and Dr. K.P. Srikala, Assistant Professor, Department of English, LNGT College, Poneri. A very big thank you to all the faculty and students of various colleges for presenting and submitting papers for this conference, without which there wouldn't be such a wonderful day. Thank you to all the presenters. And last but not the least, I would also like to thank our head of the department, Mrs. Lakshmi, for a dynamic leadership, and my dear colleagues for the strenuous work put in by each and every one of them to make this day a memorable one. I thank all my dear students for participating in this conference. I am sure each and every one of us would have gained some knowledge from this conference. So once again, I thank one and all. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all for making this conference a great success. The feedback link has been posted in the chat box. Kindly fill it to obtain the certificates. An important announcement: the participation and presentation certificates will be mailed in a week's time. I repeat, the participation and presentation certificates will be mailed in a week's time. Once again, thank you all and have a blessed day.
Please let us know whether she is eligible.
Kindly fill the form now. It's working now. Let us know if it's working in the chat box.